My story is actually interesting. I signed a last adventure because rugby you don't have a lot of years of playing. So I signed a last let's say rugby adventure here at the USAP. It's the rugby club here in Perpignan, and I signed a 3-year contract, which is really rare in rugby. And at the time, I was 34 years old, so it's really rare for a 34-year-old to sign a contract of this duration. And unfortunately, I only played 6 months because I took a cull in November. So I had a concussion, and the concussion symptoms stayed for more than a week. And so I went up to Paris to go see a brain specialist.
Following the unexpected chaos on the field, your team of doctors wondered why you were not recovering as expected and why you couldn't be back on the field as soon as anticipated. Ultimately, you had a multitude of examinations, particularly in the south of France, but also in the Paris region. And the verdict comes in, an unappealable verdict hitting you like a sledgehammer. You have cancer.
And the specialist in Paris told me, unfortunately, your rugby playing days is over. You've got a brain tumor. I was completely shocked. I've had injuries in my career, but never an injury that that prevented me to continue to play rugby.
And not only does it affect you, but it ultimately affects your entire family since you undergo several surgeries. Your wife finds herself alone managing your 3 children while being at your bedside.
So for 2 years, my wife was the mom and the dad in the family. After the operation, I slept for 16, 17 hours per day. With that amount of sleep, I only woke up to eat and to say hello to the kids, and then I went back to bed. So it was being a very active person for most of my life. It was really tough for me, not being able to do the things that I did before.
We can very well imagine what you went through at that moment, especially when we hear all these athletes since Monday telling us how a simple injury can sometimes indeed truly shatter entire dreams. Jacques-Louis Potgieter, it was far from easy. This remission phase ultimately, once you have undergone all these surgeries, does not guarantee at that moment that everything will be resolved.
Then I had 2 operations, and then that was in 2018. So for the remainder of 2018, I slept like 17 hours a day, 16 hours a day. The surgeons and the doctors told me, listen, this is normal. So we're going to go like this until you're ready to go into rehab. So in August of 2019, I went into rehab because for that duration before that, I couldn't like speak normally. So I had to relearn how to speak. I had to relearn how to use my hands. I'm handicapped on the left side of my body, so I can't. I'm left-handed, so I can't really write anymore. I write like a crab.
Now, you smile today, you laugh a little bit, but in the heart of the moment, it's completely hard because it's often said that for an athlete, the mind is just as important as the body, and then your body can no longer keep up. Ultimately, what do you tell yourself? What do you feel at that moment?
I asked myself the question, and this is really an honest thing. What I did was I asked myself, listen, do you want to continue living like this? I mean, honestly.
Because I read an interview you did where you said, I'm a good guy, I have a good lifestyle, I indulge occasionally, but not much. So why me? Why me?
That was actually when I was in the rehab center. When I went to the rehab center, that really opened up my eyes because I was so focused on what happened to me, and I didn't see the perspective of the world outside. I always ask the question, why me? Why did this happen to me? And I just reversed the question. I said, why not? I mean, I'm no one special.
As a believer, do you also come to ask yourself, God, but why as well?
That's my next. That's my next point. I went through a phase where I thought maybe this Christian thing is not for me. I mean, how can a senior let his children suffer like this? Because while I was in the rehab facility, two other accidents happened to us. So our car got stolen in front of our house. Our house that we rented out in South Africa burned down. With all these things taken into account, I really thought I don't want to. If this is what happens to a Christian, I don't want to. I don't want to be one anymore. That coincided with my time in the rehab. So in the rehab, there are people that lost their legs, that lost their arm, that have to learn how to live life without a limb. And for me, it was I had a brain operation. It's okay, but I'm able to continue. I'm able to continue life. So the people in the rehab opened up my perspective of life and really concentrating more on the blessings I have. And when I came out of rehab, I enrolled in the Dieu, diploma éducateur. Okay, and I got into that course, and I went through that course, and it was all in French. And I got I got my diploma. It was during this time I changed, and I really saw that the stuff that happened to me, the Lord won't give you things that you can't handle.
5 years later, here you are back at the very club to really coach the Union Sportive Harlequin Perpignanais team itself, competing in the top 14. Could this outcome have been possible if you had perhaps really continued playing rugby at all?
It's a question of if the Lord closes a door, He opens up another one. I always believe that that's how the Lord works.
During that entire period, were you still able to receive spiritual support?
Yeah, that's another thing that helped. We found a church, River Church, River Church. It is a English. It's an English speaking church. So we started with them. That really helped me spiritually, my head, and then we started because it's a older generation church. So because it's an older generation church, they don't have a setup for kids. So we found another church here in Perpignan, which is suited more for families. Because me and my wife, we grew up in South Africa with a lot of Christians around. So we wanted the same sort of thing for our kids. So that's why we integrated the new church. There's more kids programs, there's more stuff for kids to do, and we already know the Lord, and we want our children to also get into this environment.
How do you manage to convey these values of the Bible to your players without necessarily saying it, especially since we are in a country of secularism?
It's difficult. We don't have a lot of there are some, but we don't have a lot of players that believe that there is a God. There's a few players in the same church that we are in now because it's a French church. But the best way is by the way I live and the way I speak is a testament of what a Christian life is like. Because going up to someone who doesn't believe in anything, if you go up to him with the Bible, you're going to scare him off more than that you're going to catch his attention. There's a lot of people that ask me, "Did you get the tumor because of rugby?" I said, "No, it's grâce à rugby that I found it." So rugby for me was a way. Well, at the end, I didn't know it at the start. It actually saved my life because if I didn't take the knock in 2017, I might not have been here today.
Naturally, when one is physically injured to such a severe and painful extent as you have been, our heart too can deeply and profoundly harbor resentment. Ultimately, our heart also needs healing.
Yes, that's true. COVID was bad for a lot of people, but COVID was actually the best period for me. The world stood still, so I didn't lose ground on anyone. That was a period for me to readjust my objectives, to see what is possible, and mostly we had the children at home. So for the duration of that first year where I wasn't able to be a father, I could spend a little bit more time with them. COVID for me was actually a blessing.
Prayer, of course, holds a prominent place when one is a Christian. How did you pray before meeting your team and before a match?
When I played in South Africa, we had a real culture of prayer before the games, but we never prayed for victory. We always prayed for, we always gave thanks that we had talent, that we had the opportunity to showcase that talent, and we pray for that there's no injuries, because that is the worst for any sportsman, is to have a injury. So we pray for the team we play against. Also, we pray for everyone not to have any injuries.
How do you pray today?
We have prayer every night with the kids. So we go. Everyone has his opportunity. So on a Monday we start with the youngest, and then the Tuesday the second youngest, and the Wednesday we go in the rank. But we all five we pray every night. It is important for my wife and myself to also pray, because the children learn from us. If we pray, they learn how to pray, and we we pray in different languages. So my daughter prays in French, and one prays in English. Thank you for having me today. I just wanna leave a last thought to the public, or everyone that's listening. The Lord will never give you something too big that you can't handle. He will always give you an opportunity. You shouldn't see it as a punishment. You should see it as an opportunity. I know when it happens, it's difficult. It's difficult to see, but I lived this nightmare, and I came out and I saw the sunshine.
Thank you, Jacques-Louis Potgieter, and best of luck with the team you are coaching and aiming to bring to the top in this top 14 league. Thank you very much for your time and for being with us throughout this morning.